Welcome back to the Parlay. Today I am joined by Billy Goff, an upcoming prospect who's going to be on the Dana White's Contender Series here in just a little bit over a week. Billy, how's it going, man?
Going well. How are you doing?
Good, can't complain. So for you, 7-2 pro record right now. Again, you're going to be on Dana White's Contender Series in just a little over in a week. How's training camp going? How's the weight cut? How's everything on your end leading up to the fight?
It's going well. Everything's kind of going like planned out. No hiccups, no major injuries. So glad to be healthy and feeling good.
Yep, good, man. And so how'd you get the call for Dana White's Contender Series? And, do you have a manager? They contact you? How'd that all come about for you?
Yep. So back when I fought Sumter, like a week before, I had spoken to them a little bit before, but I wasn't sure like if I wanted to sign with anybody or just take my chances on getting a call just out of nowhere. So I ended up signing with Iridium right before I had the Sumter fight, and then they're like, yeah, we can get you in Contender Series, or we can try to get you a short notice fight in the UFC. And I got a couple offers for some short notice stuff, but my coach wasn't happy with them, so we went with Contender Series.
Right. I mean, that's a big opportunity, right? It's in front of Dana White. It's his show. If you get a big win, you're going to get that UFC contract, which is I got to be, for a guy like you, that's the ultimate goal, right? I mean, I know there's plenty of promotions, but the UFC is the pinnacle. Is that a dream of yours, just to fight under that promotion?
Absolutely, that's right now. If you want to be the best in the world, that's where you got to go.
Right, exactly. And I see a lot of stuff about fighter pay, people not happy with what they're making when they get inside the UFC. But I guess if you were to get into the UFC, for you, is it about making those millions of dollars, or for you, is it a legacy thing? Do you want to be known as the best fighter, or would you trade that for money? Which is more important at this point?
Definitely the fighting. Like, money's, you gotta make sure you're getting paid what you're worth. You gotta make sure you're taking care of yourself, taking care of the people around you. So you have to be smart. But if it came down to it, I'd fight for free.
Right, exactly. And I
used to fight as an amateur for free. Like, I would go somewhere and I got choked out for $0.
I was gonna say it's kind of, you could do other jobs for more money without getting punched in the face. So you got to love fighting to get into this profession, right? I mean,
I'm the best in the world. That's my goal. Because I'm not gonna half-ass this. I'm not going in for let's see, whatever I get is what I get, or I'm cool with fifth. Like, no, I want to be number one, and that's all there is to it.
Right. And so, in your first 7 wins, you've got 5 by knockout. So I think you're on a good path. Obviously, you've gotten noticed by guys like Dana White and the UFC to be able to come on to the Contender Series. And also, it just came out that New England Pro Rankings have you the number 1 welterweight and the number 1 middleweight. When did you find all that out?
So I was the New England MMA. I was the number 1 welterweight the last time they did them, and then I was talking to some after the Sumter fight, because I saw that he was number 1. Like, he was number 1 in their rankings for middleweight. So I was like, come on, like, I've got to put me there now. I just beat him. That makes me number 1, even though Tapology put me at number 2.
Right. Yep. And I mean, 9 fights in, you've held belts in 2 different promotions already. I mean, you're still in the early stages of your career at 24 years old. So the upside has got to be, there's really, the sky's the limit for guys like you who are super young, super talented. What's it going to take to stay focused? I know as you get into the UFC, distractions, there's going to be people wanting money, wanting you to do this. For you, how do you stay focused as you climb up and get, a bigger name and you start fighting these higher level competitions in a promotion like the UFC?
You just gotta keep good people around you to help you keep you in the right path going. Because if I'm making a mistake, somebody else that close to me that I can trust, they'll check me. They're like, hey, don't do that, man. Like, that's not a good idea. Don't help this person. Like, they're trying to use you. And I built that over the years of training with guys that I've grown close with, so I can trust them. So that's the biggest thing going into it.
Yep. Excellent. And then how did you get started in MMA? I know, I've talked to other guys in the UFC, and it's always wrestling. Did you start with wrestling? Is that how you got in MMA?
So yeah, I sort of. I started wrestling when I was 8 years old, and I wrestled until I got out of I graduated high school, um, and I trained a little bit here and there, and I watched UFC a little bit growing up, and I wanted to try it. Thought it'd be cool. I got nothing else to do. I got to do something. And when I went to the gym, it was perfect. It was like wrestling practice all over again. I fell in love with it. And then when I got a fight, it was just like, oh man, like this is better than wrestling. Like I got to do this now.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like, in fights at the UFC level, wrestling is the biggest tool you can have. You can use it for offense, get guys down to the ground. If you're hurt from a punch or something, use it to buy yourself some time, try to get a takedown. I mean, takedowns are used to steal rounds. It seems like one of the best tools you can have as a mixed martial artist, which is why I think that's kind of where a lot of people's MMA journey starts, is right through wrestling. They grew up wrestling, high school gets over, college gets over. They want to keep on competing. The UFC and the MMA, MMA as a whole is just the next best option for a lot of fighters. So that's cool to hear. I've heard wrestling every single interview. It's always wrestling. So that's cool. That's awesome. And then, so whenever you did get into MMA, family and friends, are they supportive of it? Because, MMA is still kind of new as far as mainstream sports go. Not a lot of people think that all these guys can make a living doing it. So was your family, friends, were they all supportive of it?
Definitely. Not all of them. So I got comments like, oh, like, what are you like? Is this good for you? Like, should you be doing this? Like, oh, you shouldn't do this too long, or like, don't get too crazy with it. But it was never like, it was never like a huge pushback. Never gotten a huge pushback from the people around me. And like my mom was worried about me. She still is. She doesn't want me to have any brain issues. But outside of that, no, they just. I think most of the people around me, they understand. Like, all right, he's gonna do what he wants to do, so just support him.
Right. So again, going back to the fight you got coming up, you're fighting Shimon, who's 8-1. He's got some knockouts on his resume too. What's the key to victory come next Wednesday night on the Contender Series for you?
Just got to do what we got to do. Like I don't think he's better than me. He likes to strike a little bit. He does have some finishes. He's shown some grappling, like some wrestling, a little bit on the cage work. I'm assuming he's gonna be really good. I'm assuming he's 10 times better than anything I've seen out of him. I don't think he's better than me. So I just like there's certain little things like, all right, pay attention to this, but I mean I'm not gonna give that away. But it's just go in there, show up, do the right things. Like if I go out there and just fight like I'm supposed to, then I don't see this going any other way.
Right. All right. Now a few fun questions. So in the sport, when you're in the cage fighting, what feels better, connecting with that knockout punch or locking your hands under a guy and getting that huge slam in front of the crowd? For you, what is it?
Oh, the punch is so much better. See, my coach I drilled it into my head. You shouldn't throw people. It's just not as efficient. You're more likely to scramble. You're wasting energy. But it does look good. But that punch, like once you feel your knuckles just catch it at the right, like just at the right spot on his chin, and it feels great.
Yeah. My next one, after a fight on Saturday nights, you can find Billy Goff where?
Probably at home laying.
Yeah. All right. And then the last one I got, where do you see yourself in 2 years? If you do make it into the UFC, in 2 years, where do you see yourself?
I'm trying to figure out how many fights it's going to take me to get.
Yeah.
So my coach wants me to take a very like slow, kind of pick the right fights and make the right moves and kind of build myself as much as I can going in that, so you can make the best run you can going for a title. So I think we'll probably be getting, I don't know, it's hard. Somewhere around the top 15.
Yep. It's a good goal to have, and I think it's obtainable. A guy, with your skill set, big opportunity coming up. Capitalize on that, and I don't see why we wouldn't see your name in the top 15 or even 10 here a couple years down the line. So it's going to be fun to watch, man. I appreciate you coming on. One last message to any kids starting to get in MMA who have the same goals that you do. What do you tell them?
You just gotta like genuinely like the amount of drive you have to get somewhere in this. Like you can if you're good at the sport, like you're athletic, and if you're just athletic, you can get to a decent point where like, oh, okay, I did a good job. That was cool on a local level. But if you want to get somewhere big, you want to get somewhere to like the UFC, down Bellator 1, you want to get somewhere it's like, all right, you're a fighter. You're a true through and through fighter. You gotta be a little tough. You gotta have drive, and you just gotta be able to, all right, no matter what, I have to sacrifice this, this, and this. I don't get to see my friends and family as much. I don't get to eat the same. Some holidays you're cutting weight, so that sucks. You don't have a huge social life because you got to support yourself and you got to train as much as you can. You got to be humble and like listening to the people around you. There's just so much that goes into this life that you got to have drive, because there's going to be so many times like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. This whole week, I don't want to work out, and it sucks, but you got to do it anyways. And you got to work out harder than you've worked out all camp.
Right.
That's what you need to do. So that drive of just put it in gear and just go. Doesn't matter what it is. You do what you got to do.
Yep. Perfect, man. Love it. So thank you again, Billy. Make sure to tune in. We got season 6, week 2, Dana White's Contender Series. You will kick off the card. Can't wait to watch you, man. And thank you so much for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Have a great day.